everyone. Welcome to the first episode of our podcast, Josei Junkies. I'm Kane.
I'm Iso. So, Kane, what exactly is Josei?
So, actually, we are Josei. Josei is just a genre in anime and manga that targeted towards like older women around like 20, 30s, but not exclusively consumed by older women. Think of series like, Chihaya Furu, Nana, Yuri on Ice. So it's kind of similar to Shoujo. I'm sure everyone's know about Shoujo, but then in Japanese, shoujo basically means little girls. So we're talking like high schoolers, middle schooler, middle. It's more focused on romance, first love, finding yourself, like coming of age. Whereas josei is like targeted towards older women. It has more mature themes. It's usually women after high school, like college, business. It talks a lot about their career. And again, the emphasis on the more mature themes you may not find in shoujo. And then, so just basically imagine shonen is for like younger boys, and then seinen is for older guys, kind of like that. And so, Iso, can you give us a little rundown about like what this podcast's going to be about, since we're called Josei Junkies?
So, as friends and longtime anime fans, we would always go down these rabbit holes of discussions about manga and anime and realize there was a huge lack of representation of our demographic through the female gaze. The female gaze. And we wanted to try and fill that gap because we didn't really feel like anyone else was doing that. Like, we'd have all these discussions and we'd be like, why don't we have anyone else to talk about this with? Because, like, literally, like, we would stay up until like the AM just talking about this.
Because I know when I first met you, I was like, oh, you like anime too? And then I was so excited just to be like, did you watch this one? Did you watch this one? And how did it make you feel? And you like will really dig through it. And we would like to, see anime within the female gaze again. Give recommendations, talk about our experiences, and hopefully eventually we want guests on here too, right?
Yeah, like we really just want to share the experience with everyone and like have a community that people can talk about it, because if there's like one thing I've learned being a fan of like anime for so long is that like not all anime fans are the same, and with how mainstream anime has become, it's like, of course, you're going to have different types of people who like different kinds of things. Because when we were younger, for me, it was always like, if you even found someone who was into anime, it's like, you're going to be my friend because there were so little of us. So no matter what you did, you were like, you're going to be my friend, even if we don't even like the same series. But I mean, that was rare because all we really had back then was like Naruto. So
like 3 series. Hopefully, if we can even see it on TV at all, right?
Yeah. Well, if it was on TV, you had like the ripped CDs or like VHSs that you got from your friends and like shared around. You're like
shady downloads that may or may not give you lots of viruses because there were no streaming services.
Oh God, remember when torrenting was the thing, and then when YouTube finally came out and you had like your 3 parts, and then you had like a missing second part, or like one was subbed in Espanol.
Let's be honest, it's not 3 parts. It's like part 4 out of like 25 or something like that.
Dude, which ones are you watching, man?
Listen, I don't want to talk about our ages, okay? But
we were both there at the conception of YouTube.
A little background on us. How was your experience growing up, like, with anime? Like, what were your first few anime?
So, actually, for me, I guess, like, my first anime off the top of my head would probably have to be Pokemon, but, like, I never really thought of Pokemon, and I guess even now, I don't really think of Pokemon as, like, an anime, because I just grew up with it as like a cartoon. Like, I used to watch it on like, what was it, Channel 5 in the morning, Saturday morning cartoon.
Pokemon was my first too.
Yeah, and then that was like, I had like my Game Boy. Actually, I never had the black and white Game Boy, but I had like the Game Boy Color back when it had like the link cable you had to buy. Oh my God, I was so happy when I got a link cable, but then I realized I had no friends, so it didn't even matter.
So sad. If you were back then, I would be your friend for sure. I would definitely
thank you. No, because they were like the Pokemon you could only get by trading to evolve them, and I remember being so sad. Well, being so happy. I'm like, man, I can finally evolve these Pokemon, and then realizing I was so sad. I was like, I literally have no one I can trade with to actually evolve my Pokemon. Okay.
Does that mean you never completed your Pokédex?
No, I don't think I did for those ones.
Bro, that's so sad.
Yeah. I'm so sad about it.
I remember, I think for me it was like obviously Pokemon. And back then I also thought Pokemon and like what is it? Because my cousin would be watching like Batman, Superman, any of like the superheroes. And I thought they were all just in the same category too. And when Sailor Moon came out, and I actually found a VHS of Sailor Moon, like R, the first movie. Like, do you remember that photo? I remember it so clearly. It was like a pink background, and she's wearing her like dress, like her white iconic dress. And I remember back then, I never figured out her name was Usagi until like way later on in my life because I
That's so
swear she was just
true.
Serena,
That's
right?
true. I think I actually prefer Sailor Moon in English dub than sub because like it's just I'm so used to it. It just sounds right to me.
Yeah. Same thing with Dragon Ball Z too in
Oh yeah,
Inuyasha,
yeah, yeah,
kind of.
yeah, yeah. I actually, well, Inuyasha, like for me, I actually didn't watch Inuyasha until like last year or more recently. Like it was one of the
Oh,
ones,
really?
yeah, because when I tried to watch it back when YouTube first came out and everything was in
Mm-hmm.
3 parts, I remember I tried to, and then there were just so many missing parts that I was like, I'm gonna watch this later, and then
Just
I
gave up.
just never got around to it.
Wait, so you didn't like stay up during the time of like Adult Swim when like Inuyasha was playing?
I
Like in the
did.
middle of the night?
Okay, I don't remember how late I used to stay up, but like
Uh-huh.
I did stay up late. I think I did. I feel like I did watch Adult Swim because I remember, like, I definitely watched Toonami and stuff, and I was watching like
Mm-hmm.
all the shows on there. Like, I remember
Like
when.
WB Kids.
Sorry, what?
WB Kids, like Saturday morning?
Yeah,
Isn't that
yeah,
what
yeah,
it's called?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
watched that in the
Okay, okay.
mornings, but then I watched like Toonami and I think Adult Swim too. Like, I was so young, my mind didn't even like know what was like what back then. I just was like, oh, anime's on channel for the Cartoon Network channel, but when it's not Cartoon Network.
I know. No, I was like always had to sneak out in the middle of the night exactly when it plays because I'm like, oh no, it's like for adults only and I'm not of age. I can't be watching this. Like it just felt so immoral and wrong. But like, and especially when they, and like in Inuyasha, they had like the hot spring scene, like the
Oh
onsen scene.
gosh.
I always just like, they're naked, but like honestly, there's really nothing. Like there's no nips, no nothing, you know? But I
Dude,
was
there's
still like,
still no
I'm
nips.
watching porn.
There's still no nips.
Yeah, or like I remember not watching Ghost in the Shell back then because the opening she was like naked and you see her nipples or something and I was like, "Oh, this is so adult. I can't even watch the opening. Like I can't watch this
Oh
show."
my god, dude. I think like my experience with like shows I couldn't watch wasn't even that. Mine was like actually bad. I still haven't gotten around to watching it. I'm like thinking I should watch it now that I can like deal with this stuff. But it was like, was it Elfin Lied? Elfin Lead? Elfin
Oh
Lied?
yeah.
Dude, I
Uh-huh.
remember seeing the first episode of that and being so scarred. I was like, oh my god, this is so, oh my god. Like Bloody Beach, all these people
Yeah.
dead. And I was like, I just never ever watched it again. And then when I was older, I was like, man, that sounds like something I'd enjoy watching.
Honestly, the experience is completely different.
For real, for real.
Anyways, we've just been like off track completely talking about anime, but I guess essentially this is what the podcast is going to be about of us just
Yeah.
discussing anime, going through it, a little background on us like that. That's kind of like where we kind of start. Wait, okay, actually, before we end, do you remember like finding random VHS or like random manga in like your local libraries?
I remember that my libraries had them when, because I used to go to the library, especially during summer. I would get dropped off there and basically had to spend like my whole day at the library. So I remember at one point figuring out that there was actually a section where you could rent like VHS and DVDs and like all the things. And I
Mhm.
was so amazed, but I never did it myself. But I remember finding it and being like, dude, I could rent all these things for free. Bruh.
Yeah. I just want to say, bless whoever donated those series or if the library bought them because it like seriously shaped my childhood. Like I can watch random episode, but at least I was able to consume anime like Escaflowne or like Please Save My Earth, random series like that. And then like after reading all of the series in the library and you don't if you don't finish it, you can rent them home, right? But do you remember like Barnes and Nobles or like Borders? They had like the bookstores with the like the manga section. I remember
Yes.
just spending like
You sit there
five
and read
hours
them.
each day there, just like reading through
Oh my god.
series.
I remember always being so scared they would kick me out because I wouldn't buy any
I
of them.
know it's so scary, but honestly, back then they were pretty lenient about that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
okay, like to be fair, like I never did get talked to or anything about it. I'm just anxiety
Mm-hmm.
prone and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not buying anything. They're going to kick me out."
Eventually, I just find whatever area they don't go to the most often. I just take my manga and sit in the very far corner where they can't find me. And some bookshelves are so large, I fit underneath them, so they can never find me as long as they don't look down.
The only things we could do when we were younger. My god.
It's crazy. It's honestly crazy how anime has changed over the years because, like, now you can just, go rent them or like stream them. It's just weird.
You don't even like rent
Wild.
them. You just like straight up buy a subscription and have access to streaming. Man, okay, I just have to say, when I was younger, my friends gave me so much shit for streaming anime because I was like, dude, I don't want to torrent this because back when fan subs, it used to be like you would have to torrent it from the fan subs and they would have it
Mhm.
first. And I was like, but it'd be higher quality because YouTube was really shit back then, or any of the other random sites that, because there was no like, YouTube was like just starting and most of the sites didn't have like actual video hosting. Like they had to host it themselves. So if you did have a site, it wasn't as like it is now usually where it's like, oh, you can access all these animes. It was usually like it had one anime this person was committed to uploading. Like I remember there was like a Naruto one and it was like just for Naruto. But anyways, so I just remember being like, damn, all these sites and now everyone has access. You just have to buy a subscription versus my friends gave me so much shit for streaming and now streaming's mainstream. But back when I did it, my friends would all torrent and be like, why would you stream it when you can torrent? Like, it's so much more high quality. And I was like, I don't have the attention span. Like, I go through this so fast. Like, it just isn't worth it,
Mhm.
man. As long as I can read it. Like, I was okay with 240p, really shitty Windows Movie Maker subs. You know, if I could understand it enough,
Yeah.
we good. We good. Like,
It's so true though. And just like now it's okay and acceptable to have like random anime merch too. I mean, like back then it was just like if you like anime, you just hide it. And if you can find other friends who like anime, then that's cool. But you kind of stay within your small little circle. But now it's like I can have like a Akatsuki patch on my purse and someone will actually know what it is. It's just, it's wild and it's really exciting. I
it
think that's why
is.
it's important as the community is growing, as like anime fans growing. I do think it's important that female anime fans also have like a voice or like female themes. I guess like they talk about things like Josei and like manhwa. And let me tell you about all those reincarnation ones. Okay, we're gonna go through it.
We know you love your villainesses. Okay, Kane. We
We
know. We know.
love villainous here.
You love
Um,
villainous.
don't lie. You love yaoi and donghua, okay? So like we have our own like little
Dude, I read it, but you
section.
love it. Like, we'll put it that way. I read it, you love it. And I wait for you to give me the good ones because I'm just like, I
I
can't be bothered to sift
know.
through so many villains. Like, they're all called villainous. The villainous reincarnated, and I'm like, which villain is this time? Is she actually gonna be badass, or is it just like, man, I died and I know the future?
Yeah. There's like so many different twists and stuff now, but it's crazy. It's grown so big. It's like grown bigger than Japan now, where it's like Korea and China has their own like, animation studios and like
Yeah.
they're doing really good work, honestly.
Well, I mean, like, a big issue I know is like that Japan outsources a lot of the work now to like a
Mhm.
lot of countries like Korea or like even Vietnam. Do they? Yeah, a
Mhm.
lot of the cheaper countries, China too, outsources like, and because of that, I think those places have just kind of been like, oh well, if we're gonna do the work anyways, why not make our own? Why should we like do your stuff? So in the end, that's what's happening. I mean, globalization. And it's really
Yeah.
sad because they're so underpaid in Japan, and it's like, man, Japan has such a good product and industry if they would only like embrace it, like kind of like how Korea embraced K-pop, where it was like,
It's so true because there's like the Japanese animators are just doing it like viewed completely on passion because they're paid like barely living wages. It's freaking insane. And then the ones who are outsourced too, they're given visas to stay in Japan, but again, still paying extremely low wages. So, and then also, if you notice at the end of like some anime series, like the first episode or like anime movies, you can see all of the names.
Yes,
You
yes, at
start
the
to see it's
end.
like not in Japanese
It's
words,
like
it's like
Vietnamese
Chinese and Korean.
names.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I
like
totally remember.
mixed now.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
crazy.
I remember the first time I saw that and I was so confused until like I heard how like a lot of it was outsourced. And even though some of them are getting visas, I know a lot aren't. It's just like they're just straight up sending it to other countries and getting it sent back. To my knowledge,
Mm.
don't quote me on that, but from my understanding, that was what was happening too. Because I mean, that's cheaper. Like, don't even have to pay for their visas. Don't have to pay for anything.
So true. Honestly, this is why I feel like hopefully with the streaming services and more like popularized popularized anime has become, some of that money can go back to like the ones who's at, who's working really hard to give us really good stuff.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like, these people deserve the money, and I really wish they would just pay them more in the first place. Like, fans are willing to pay for that. And it's kind of sad too because I mean, we have the whole thing where it's like basically anime is really really expensive to produce. That's why like a lot of animes don't go for like more than a season because it's just like not worth the investment when all the real money comes from like merch. And so if the anime doesn't sell like merch and more physical things that
Mhm.
have all that, then it doesn't get produced for like a next season because it's not considered quote unquote popular. And that's why we end up with a lot of these like harem-y, very male gaze, like, oh, look at all these titties, oh my god, because sex sells and that's what ends up selling, so it gets produced more, even if it's content-wise not what a lot of us want to see. And that's like a big reason why we started this podcast, because we were kind of tired of just seeing all these people being like, I love hentai, I love anime titties, I love all this, which, I mean, if you like it, that's your thing, that's totally fine, but like, it felt really isolating, I know, for me to feel like I don't have anyone to just talk about like anime and like deeper themes and all these like things I want to discuss when everyone's just like, but did you see that really hot character? Because to me, I'm
Yeah.
like, there are hot characters and I recognize it because I'm like, I'm thirsty over hot characters too, but like, that's not my only thought process,
We
you know?
know, we know. I still, the thirst is real in all of us. Okay,
Yes.
we're not exempt from the rules. I remember even back then, like in high school, people would all automatically assume that anime is hentai. Because when I'm like, I'm
Yes.
into anime, they're just like, oh, you like that hentai stuff. I'm like, what is that? Because even back then, I had no idea what that was, and then I had to literally look it up, and I was like, oh, this is a whole genre. I had no idea. And now it's just become so big. But I have to say, money does move mountains, right? Because
Yes.
I have started to notice like a lot more shift towards like female centered anime series, like a lot of the new Shoujo series, some of the webtoons, like Raeliana is getting adapted into an anime series. So I'm excited for that because obviously I think maybe I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure like from the last time that I spoke to people in Japan, like a lot of working Japanese women are now like not starting families, they're kind of delaying it by like really working on their career. And now they have a lot of accessible money. What are they going to invest in? They're going to invest in like
What makes them
anime and
happy?
like shows. Yeah, just entertainment. And so now that they finally see that this is a market, this is
Yeah.
like a huge market that they can jump into, and so now they're creating more anime um centered towards women, so that's exciting. I mean, I hope more.
Yeah, for us.
But we've been in the market for a long time. Okay, let me just say that we've been around. We're just not as loud or like as outspoken,
Yeah, yeah, I
but we've
totally agree.
been just like lurking, waiting.
Make it sound so creepy, but we're really okay. I don't know. We're fucking trash, but like we definitely have felt like we were a different community than a lot of other anime fans, and it's really nice to when you can find people you can finally talk about these things to. So that's why we talk
Right.
about it.
Oh my god, I'm so excited to see like, if we start bringing guests on here so we can discuss and like talk through things. Um,
Watch us just
I don't
yell.
know.
We're gonna yell so much more. Like we're gonna have so much clipped audio.
Okay, just mute me the entire time. We should be good.
She's just gonna be a jumping PNG, and it's just like, what is she saying? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Overlays audio.
Okay, well, if when we post this, you can write in the comment like what are your favorite series and like what do you recommend or what kind of like topics you want us to talk about. We'll read through it and then like, kind of move forward with that. But the goal of this is to really build a community where people feel safe, people feel like, represented and like, just make new friends hopefully through it as well.
Yes.
Just giving space.
Yeah.
To our community.
Yeah, we really just, if you're a fan like us, please speak up because we want to hear it. Like, we exist, and there's more to anime than just, I feel like, what you've seen in the mainstream. But also to your note, when you said the thing about like people thinking Japanese like anime is just like hentai, it just reminded me of like how that's like older generations definitely think of that too, or like people always just think of Japan as like, oh, like Japanese porn, Japanese AV, and it's just like why? But it was like, it reminded me of this one video I saw of this girl who was like into like anime and manga, and then I think like her parents got her a Christmas present of this like anime, I think it was like a jacket, and she like opens it in front of her family because it's like Christmas morning or whatever, right? And you're opening presents. And it was like a straight up hentai, just like jacket all over, just hentai all over it. And I was like fucking screaming. I was like, they bought this and they didn't even look like, I can't even. They just probably looked up like anime jacket and bought it. But I'm like, did they not even see the image of like, those faces and all that? Like, come on.
Oh, what kind of faces?
It was like the ahegao.
Honestly. Well, I mean, if I was gifted that jacket, I'll probably just give it to like one of my friends.
Yes.
Because I cannot for the life of me fathom wearing that, but I'm sure someone out there will enjoy it.
Yeah, I would never wear that. But I can't say, okay, addendum to that, just have to say, like, if that's your thing and you enjoy wearing that, not gonna stop you, but please think of where you wear that. Like, please don't wear that in public and like around children. Like, that's not okay. Like, just have to say.
I mean, at anime cons, wherever, or you're gonna go out with your like friends, go anime parties or whatever, that's chill.
Yeah, like just be aware of who you're wearing it around, because like in the end it is still like 18 plus material, so use some common sense. I want to say common sense, but the thing is, like, there's one thing I've learned in this day and age is that common sense isn't necessarily common, so just keep it in mind.
So what is it called? It's not common. It's just sense.
Have some sense. Okay, because like, in the world now, we're so many people, so many different ways of thought. It's just like we say common sense and then someone doesn't understand it. And if anything, I don't think it's like you should like get mad at people necessarily either for saying, oh, it's common sense, because some people maybe just really didn't learn it. And if anything, what we should be doing is teaching them like, hey, this isn't okay, so you shouldn't do this, and give the reasons why and explain it, so in the future they can learn and like not do it. And now they have this quote unquote common sense, because there's some things I feel like people have talked to me about and I was like, I had no idea until you told me, and it was common sense. So
oh, I see. I guess so. I guess, yeah, everyone kind of grew up living their own reality, having their own experiences, and can only see it within those lens.
Yeah, so maybe there might be one or two things, maybe more that isn't quote unquote common. So I think this is where we're going to end off our first episode here. We just kind of wanted to give an intro to us and what we're talking about.
Wait, we're ending already?
Are we? I don't know what else we want to talk about. I don't know how long we've been recording for.
We just started talking though. Are we really? What where are we at? I feel like it's only been 5 minutes.
I don't know. Oh, actually, we've been recording for like 26 minutes.
Okay, so like another 26 minutes.
Okay, no, we can. No. What else do you want to talk about? It's up to you.
There's just so much. I feel like we just kind of jumped around to like the overall theme of the podcast. But yeah, we'll definitely go further in detail, discuss like, what are some of the topics that we wanted to discuss.
Yeah, well, we just wanted to we have a lot of things about like Josei in general, and to be honest, like we want to try and organize it, but realistically, it'll probably jump all around the place in all of these, and hopefully it'll just be like good listening, you know, in your car or whatever. You can just listen to us ramble. It's probably going to be easier to follow and that kind of talk. Like you have someone to talk to, you know, your friends, your little hopping PNG friends, screaming.
We could be moving more, but I've controlled myself for the first episode.
She didn't want to scare you off.
Do we? Maybe we'll scare everybody off with this one. Or I don't even remember. I have like short-term memory of a goldfish. I don't remember what we
I have the goldfish. No, okay, but dude, no, we can't scare anyone off if they're not here in the first place. So we're good.
Darn it.
We can only go up from here, right?
So we can't talk about banana fish.
Bro, are you trying to hurt everyone like immediately? Bro.
Anyway, so that will be the anime recommendation for today. If you have not seen Banana Fish, go ahead, completely blind, just watch it. And then,
it's definitely about bananas and fish. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, so like fish, you know, like those bean paste filled like.
That's like taiyaki. No, we talking just like overfishing, you know, and bananas are good. Banana bread, quarantine, yes.
Oh my god, banana is so good for you. High in potassium.
Did you know that's actually a myth? I looked it up.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
It was like a marketing thing where they like marketed them as like high potassium to like sell more, but actually there's like other like fruits and stuff that have way more potassium. Like banana is pretty normal potassium level. Like it has potassium, but it's not like super high or anything. Because I had to look it up for like some medication where it was like, oh, be careful about eating a lot of potassium. So I was like, can I eat bananas? And I looked it up and they're like, dude, bananas actually aren't super high in potassium.
Oh my god, thank you again for coming to ISO's Common Sense episode 1 as well. That was not the common sense that I thought. I thought it was just the normal thing that banana had more potassium. What the heck?
I mean, they have potassium. It's just not like, wow. It's like when you think of like orange juice, like actually, I haven't double checked that word, but it's like, oh oranges have tons of vitamin C.
Milk. It's like the Got Milk campaign of them just trying to get you to drink more milk. Yeah. Everything is conspiracy. Anyways, we will be talking about conspiracies on here. A lot of husbandos, a lot of...
What kind of conspiracies? You can't go and just say that. Now we just sound like we're wild and like unhinged.
What?
You're like, conspiracies. What kind of conspiracies are we talking about?
Okay.
Like...
Honestly, there's so many conspiracies. Like, have you not heard about the conspiracy of like... What is it? In Pokemon, there's so many conspiracies in Pokemon. There's so many conspiracies in like all anime series.
I mean, like, what are we considering conspiracy? Because there's like Easter eggs and then there's like conspiracy.
I don't know, but I will get back to you on that when I have further detail and have properly done my research.
Oh, that's what you gotta do. Fact check. There, everyone, remember to fact check. If anything you hear, anything we say, fact check us, please. Fact check anything you hear or read.
It's so true, especially with the internet. And did you know also Google and like a lot of search engines now, they just basically give you very like catered search. So like if you ask, is the sky blue? They're going to send you all of these search that's like, the sky is blue. It's like confirmation bias though.
Yeah,
whereas
it's an algorithm.
You can search for things, but it will always confirm that bias rather than giving you like an equal amount of both.
Yeah, it puts you in your own echo chamber and the whole thing because that's their marketing. I mean, they'll also send you things that make you mad and like headlines that make you mad because people will click on them and people will fight and that gives more screen time to like their site or like whatever they're trying to do. It's all a market. It was like that thing where like I think Facebook had the thing where it like denotes what your affiliation is, like if you're like liberal or conservative leaning, and then you can change it, but like depending on what it's listed, it will like recommend you stuff based off that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This is crazy. So yeah, fact check is important, and we will also make sure we do our research before
we'll try our best.
We'll try our best. We can only do our best, honestly.
Yeah, like we're probably just gonna talk, and if you notice something's off, like we welcome being fact checked. Like send us the sources. We'd love to read them. Like we always are trying to learn and like better ourselves because no one's perfect, and we're guilty of these things too, and that's why.
Growth mindset. Anyway, so watch Banana Fish. It's actually great. It's a very happy series, even if people have told you otherwise.
There should be warnings though. 18 plus.
Is it 18 plus?
I mean, there's some themes in there that.
I guess you're right, but I guess I've never considered it to be so 18 plus. Anyways, it's directed by Mappa, and we love Mappa for like Jujutsu Kaisen and like Attack on Titan and Chainsaw Man, all of the new really good series. So Mappa's a really
Like,
good
all the
studio that
animation
actually
gods.
pays them. Yeah, they pay their like employees well too. So we love them. They are directed by Mappa, and I think the voice actor of Ash is the voice actor of Megumi from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Is it? I believe
I
it.
think so, yeah. And I think the voice of Kyo from Fruit Basket too.
The
Sorry,
new one?
I'm also yeah, the new one, yeah.
Gosh.
Right? I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I'm also a major freaking voice otaku, so occasionally you will hear me talk about, oh, the series is also voiced by this person who also voiced this series.
Yeah, she knows names better. I usually recognize voices. I'm like, this voice kind of sounds like this other voice, and then I look it up, and if they're the same, I'm like, I fucking knew it. Yeah, I'm right.
Oh my god.
Fucking knew
But
it.
honestly, I will watch an entire anime series just for a certain voice actor that I like. It's just different levels of anime fan. I'm on that weird side.
That's not weird. It's just what you like. I mean, it's like I've watched so many series just because a character was really hot or the design was good, and I was like, this is such a shit anime. Why am I still watching? And before I know it, I
Oh my
finished it, and I'm
god.
like, why did I waste my time with this? I'm like, was it
Like
wasted?
Hakenden and is it the Seven Dogs or something?
No.
Honestly, they're so hot. Honestly, all the guys are so hot.
They know.
I watched the
Know.
entire thing. And Brave 10.
Oh, Brave 10.
I know.
Noctis
I know
knockoff. Before Noctis was real, or like before he actually got released officially.
Okay, you cannot tell me that his design is low-key not based off Noctis.
No, it
though,
totally
Brave
is.
10.
It literally looks like that
it
thing.
literally looks like him.
Like,
There's just no way.
when the
they
artists
can't lie to us like that.
When the artists do like different styles, like if that was a different style, that would be him.
Japan knows what they're doing, okay? Nothing is a coincidence. So that's why conspiracy.
This is your conspiracy. They're out to get me with the hot men. I think that's pretty straightforward.
Okay, you need to stop doing that, okay? You can't let them trick you so easily.
You're one to talk.
Okay, well, I think that should be episode 1 of our series. If you did enjoy the random snippets of what we were talking about, please come join our next podcast. We are aiming to release an episode each week, possibly even more. So yeah, if you liked it and you would like to join our community, please tune in next week.
Yes. We welcome all, and we'd love to hear from you.
And it's not exclusive. Again, Josei, it's not exclusive to older women. Anyone can join. This is an open space, okay?
It's really just, we'll talk about anything, but...
We'll literally talk about anything.
Wow, that sounded really weird.
We literally talked about everything just now. Do you... Okay, not like that. Oh my god.
I have no words for you. I have no words. What's wrong with me? This is our lives. She's just embarrassed because I called her out. But anyways, thanks for joining us in the Josei Junkies podcast. I'm Iso.
I'm Kane.
And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Come back.